The Durban-based ARB Holdings is South Africa's largest independent distributor of electrical products with a market cap of 900 million rand. Apart from wholesaling, the group owns Eurolux, which distributes light fittings, lamps and ancillary electrical products. ARB has a price-to-earnings ratio of 11 and a dividend yield of 3.6%. ARB Holdings, Paul, what do you make of it?
We seem to have talked about it quite a few times on Hot Stocks. ARB stands for Alan R. Burke. He's the founder. He's got like 52% of the company. Durban-based, in the electrical and supply business, where they sort of provide cables and sub-station componentry and so on, and now Eurolux rather, sort of the smaller, lower current type stuff, but doing well. Interesting though, listed back in I think 07 or something like that, was traded or placed at about 5 Rand 10, fell rather heavily, sort of a couple of stumbles out of the gate. To his credit, Mr. Burke was nibbling away in the market while they were weak and has stabilized the share and the listing and so on. The new CEO, Byron Nichols, is a corporate finance guy, so the Burke family is sort of going a little bit more into the background. They've done a couple of acquisitions, but they're doing nicely and they've kind of bust into the Gauteng market and so on. Smaller company, but certainly in recent years has perked up after the sort of wobble of the listing and the aftermath of the financial crash.
So what do you make of their earnings right now? They also released results now recently.
A decent set of results. If you compare it to the two companies we looked at before the break, the growth isn't quite as high, but it's more stable. It's got a net cash position. It's a working capital business that you need to manage that carefully. So you should see more consistent but lower growth from ARB Holdings.
So Paul?
Yeah, I think we've spoken again about this one against the backdrop of all of the work that needs to be done in rebuilding and extending the electrical infrastructure in this country. So a lot of areas were electrified in a big hurry, after 94 and the decade after that. So quite a lot of areas are now becoming a bit more formal. They're taking the electrical infrastructure from above the ground to under the ground. A lot of the municipalities have to spend billions apparently because the system is not as hot as it used to be. So, these kinds of guys are going to benefit from that because they're involved with the cable and all the parts and the switch gear and all that sort of stuff. So the underlying story is very positive, and you can only imagine what it looks like in terms of the rest of Africa, even more so. So the following wind is there, and the management team seems to be well poised, so I'm happy to give it the hot as well.
Yourself, Jean-Pierre, hot or not?
Well, this one is slightly different in that the cables that they distribute is manufactured locally. So the pricing power of this business isn't quite as good as those companies which import almost all the product that they distribute. Notwithstanding that, I like the management team. I like the fact that the business is in a net cash position. I think the little acquisitions they have made, ICS and Eurolux, are quite good. So I would also say hot in this case.